In the misty mountains of southeastern Zimbabwe lies the ancient homeland of a proud and resilient people, the Ndau, a tribe rich in history, culture, and spirit. Welcome to today's episode where we look at the history of the Ndau people. Thank you so much for subscribing and joining me on this journey revisiting our roots. The Shona people of Zimbabwe are divided into several subgroups, each with its own dialect and cultural practices. The major subgroups include the Zezuru, Karanga, Manyika, Korekore, and the Ndau clan. The Ndau identity in modern Zimbabwe. Today, the Ndau people live primarily in Zimbabwe's Chimanimani and Chipinge districts in Manicaland province. Their communities stretch across the border into central Mozambique, where their roots still run deep. Their land, rich with mountains, rivers, and fertile soil, remain sacred, a place where history whispers in every tree and stone. The Ndau homeland is known for its breathtaking eastern highlands, bordered by the Save River and the Mozambique Mountains. The Ndau are also found in parts of Bikita, in the Zambezi Valley, in central Mozambique, all the way to the coast, and in central Malawi. Ndau dialect is so different. The Ndau speak Chindau, a dialect of the broader Shona language family. The language is unique, rich, and exotic. They speak Chindau that incorporates Nguni vocabulary. It's more than just a language, it's a living connection to their mixed heritage and cultural survival. Language and identity. Although Chindau contains noticeable Nguni loan words due to historical interactions, it is recognized in Zimbabwe's constitution as one of the national languages. It is believed that the Ndau language and culture has been influenced by their living alongside Shona people, in particular the Manyika. Furthermore, the Mfecane period also had a greater impact on Ndau language, customs, and culture. Due to the conquest by the Ngunis in the 1820s, a lot of the Ndau ancestry evolved to include the Nguni bloodline and ancestry. This is evident in the wealth of Nguni words in the Ndau language, Nguni names and surnames. What does the word Ndau mean? There are various propositions on the meaning of the word Ndau. Some say it came from the people's traditional way of greeting, Ndauwe, and other social settings. Others say the name Ndau means land, either meaning the place or the country in Ndau local language. Some, however, suggest that the name is derived from the Nguni term Amadingi Ndau, meaning those looking for a place, to refer to the Ndau. This phrase was particularly used by the Gaza Nguni to describe the Ndau. Some suggest that the name Ndau itself may have evolved from this Nguni phrase Amadingi Ndau. Some historians have gone further to suggest that there is a possibility that the ancient Ndau are one of the first ancestral tribes of the Ngunis, similarly to the Mtetwas, Lala, and Debe, who are descendants of the Tonga Tekelas. The last proposition is that the Ndau people are descendants of ancient Mozambican warriors who intermarried with the local population. These warriors are said to have been involved in trade with the San and the Arab people. So all these are theories to explain the origins of the name Ndau. Let me know what you think. Ndau subgroups. The Ndau have 5 main groups: the Magova, the Mashanga, the Vatomboti, the Madanda, and the Teve. Also, the Ketri is composed of a variety of dialects such as Chikwaka, Chidanda, and Chigova. It is believed that the primary totem of the Ndau people of Zimbabwe is the cattle hut, known as Chirandu in Ndau. This totem signifies the Ndau chiefs and their perceived ownership of the land. Also, some sources suggest a lion as a revered totem with Ndau, potentially being related to terms like Dau, Tau, Sibanda, Shumba, which are all associated with lions. This is reflected in the name Ndau, which is said to be equivalent to terms like Dau, Tau, Sibanda, or Shumba, all of which relate to a lion in various languages. Some historians suggest that the Ndau may be among the ancestral tribes of the Ngunis, similar to the Mutetwas, Lala, and Debe. This connection further reinforces the lion's significance as a totem for the Ndau. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. There is evidence that the ancient Ndau people met with the Khoisan during the first trade with the Arabs at Mapungubwe. They traded with Arabs with Mpalu, Njeti, and Vukosho, red, white, and blue-colored cloths, and golden beads, herbs, animal skins, and bones. Customs and traditions. Ndau traditions are deeply spiritual. Ancestral worship is at the heart of their beliefs, and rainmaking ceremonies, initiation rituals, totems, and harvest festivals are vital to community life. Ancestor worship. The Ndau people practice ancestor worship, a belief system where the deceased are believed to continue living and can influence the fortune of the living. They also believe in a supreme being called Mwari and in Vadzimu, who are seen as living dead, who live under the soil and control it. This belief is a key part of their cultural and religious traditions. They celebrate harvest festivals that honor both the ancestors and the land. Totems or mitupo define family lineages, while traditional healers known as nganga preserve ancient medicinal knowledge passed down through generations. Music and dance play a central role, with the mbira, ngoma, or drums and vocal harmonies uniting the people in rhythm and purpose. The mbira, ngoma, drums, and dance are vital parts of Ndau celebrations, used in both spiritual ceremonies and communal gatherings. Marriage customs include lobola, bride price, which solidifies family ties, and chieftainships continue to play a crucial role in local governance. The Ndau are known for their traditional healers, onganga, and herbal knowledge, which form part of their spiritual and health systems. The Ndau people origins and early history. Historically, the Ndau are part of the larger Bantu-speaking peoples who migrated from West or Central Africa around modern-day Cameroon or Nigeria into Southern and Eastern Africa. Like other Bantu groups, they moved southward in waves, bringing ironworking, agriculture, growing sorghum, millet, and cattle herding. Between 500 and 1000 CE, the ancestors of the Ndau had reached present-day Zambia, Malawi, and Mozambique, where they began to differentiate from other Shona subgroups. The Ndau people's history is complex because of their relationships with other groups over the years. Historians attest that there were inter-ethnic and interracial contact between the Ndau people and Swahili and Muslim merchants at Sofala Bay during the 8th century. They had trade networks that were developed several centuries before Portuguese traders' arrival, before their settlement, even before their control of the trading of gold and ivory. Settlement in northeast Zimbabwe and Mozambique around 1000 to 1400 CE. The Ndau settled in the East Highlands of Zimbabwe, modern-day Manicaland, and adjacent regions of central Mozambique, notably the Sofala coast. Their territory was fertile, well-watered, and strategically located near Indian Ocean trade routes, which later connected them to Swahili and Arab traders. Unlike the Shona groups that built Great Zimbabwe, the Ndau lived in smaller, decentralized chiefdoms, but shared linguistic and cultural ties. Let's look at their association with Great Zimbabwe between the 11th to 15th century. The Great Zimbabwe civilization rose to prominence between the 11th and 15th centuries, becoming a powerful political and trade center. The ancestors of the Ndau lived in the southeastern peripheries of the Great Zimbabwe state, and they were likely tributaries or trade partners of this powerful kingdom. Through their proximity, they were influenced by the stone building techniques, religious practices, and trade culture of the Great Zimbabwe civilization. Culturally, the Ndau maintained their language and clan identities, even while interacting with the larger Shona cultural sphere centered around Great Zimbabwe. What about their integration into the Mutapa Empire? So when the Mutapa Empire, a successor state to Great Zimbabwe, rose to power, the Ndau fell under its influence but retained a degree of independence. The Ndau region was strategically important due to its proximity to Portuguese trading posts, for example, Sofala and gold-producing areas. After the decline of Great Zimbabwe, the Mutapa or Mwene Mutapa Empire emerged, centered more to the north, but stretching its influence eastwards. The Ndau region, though not at the core of Mutapa power, came under indirect control through tribute and allegiance systems. Some Ndau chiefs allied with the Mutapa rulers, while others resisted, leading to intermittent conflict. The Portuguese documented the Ndau as skilled warriors and traders, often mediating between coastal merchants and inland kingdoms. Ndau chiefs often paid homage to the Mutapa rulers, and the Ndaulands served as a frontier buffer zone between the Mutapa state and other eastern tribes. There were also intermarriages and cultural exchanges, but the Ndau retained a strong autonomous identity, especially through clan-based governance. Resistance and relations with the Rhozi Empire around 1690 to 1830 CE, when the Rhozi Empire overthrew the Mutapa dynasty. The Ndau resisted Rhozi domination. The Rhozi viewed the Ndau as semi-autonomous, but occasionally raided their lands for tribute, particularly in gold-rich areas. The Ndau's mountainous homeland made them difficult to fully conquer, allowing them to preserve their distinct identity. They continued trading with the Portuguese, sometimes bypassing Rhozi control, which strained relations. The Rhozi Empire succeeded Mutapa as the dominant Shona power and expanded its military reach into southeastern Zimbabwe. The Rhozi launched military campaigns into Ndau territory to assert dominance and extract tribute. Many Ndau communities experienced the conflict and displacement, especially during the Rhozi raids, but also adopted some aspects of Rhozi chieftainship structure and military organization. However, due to the geographic remoteness and rugged terrain of the Ndau lands, full integration into the Rhozi Empire never occurred, and Ndau people often retained semi-independent rule under their own hereditary chiefs. They called Makurukota and Mambos. Moving to the 1820s, we see the Ndau coming under the control of the Nguni chief Nkaba and Soshangani. Soshangani Nxumalo, also known as Manukuse, was a powerful Nguni rival Congest who was the Ndwandwe general who fled from Zululand, presently known as KwaZulu-Natal, after his defeat at the hands of Shaka during the Zulu-Nguni Wars, notoriously known as the Mfecane. Together with his troops, they traversed the Limpopo into the south of Mozambique, where they created the Gaza state or the Nguni Gaza Empire. According to history sources, Soshangani and his Nguni militias ravaged and slayed a lot of Ndau men and took their women as captives. As a result, this led to plentiful intermarriages between the Nguni and the Ndau clusters during and after the invasion, which later added flavor to the language and culture of the Nguni community. The Ndau ancestry developed the Nguni bloodline and lineage. In the present day, the Ndau are believed to be related to the Shona Karanga of Zimbabwe and Shangaan tribe in South Africa. This is because during the empire formation, the Tonga, the Shona, the Xhosa, Zulu, and other ethnic groups were incorporated into the kingdom. This is evident in the wealth of Nguni words in the Ndau language, Nguni names, Nguni surnames such as Sitole, Gumede, Mlambo, Mtetwa, Mshanga, Nxumalo, Shatswayo, for example, which are very common. Colonial era. The British and Portuguese split Ndau lands between Zimbabwe, the then Rhodesia, and Mozambique, further dividing their people. During the colonial era, the Ndau lands were split between Rhodesia, present-day Zimbabwe, and Mozambique by the British and Portuguese, respectively. The division was a result of political maneuvering and boundary negotiations in the late 19th century, where Britain sought to extend its colony of southern Rhodesia and access Mozambique's resources. Portugal, claiming historical rights to the territory, had been establishing its presence in Mozambique for centuries. Britain, aiming to expand its southern Rhodesia colony and gain access to Mozambique's resources, negotiated with Portugal to define the boundaries, leading to the boundary agreements. In 1891, the boundaries of Mozambique were agreed upon, effectively partitioning the Ndau lands between the two colonial powers. The division meant that some Ndau-speaking communities were placed under Portuguese colonial rule in Mozambique, while others came under British colonial rule in Rhodesia. This division had a significant impact on the Ndau people, leading to political and administrative changes within their societies. The colonial powers implemented their own systems of governance, often interfering with traditional leadership structures and practices. Who were the notable Ndau leaders and chiefs? So next, I'm going to mention some notable Ndau chiefs just in passing. Also, I've left out their totems because I didn't get enough information to verify or to collaborate the information by using multiple sources. So the few names I'm sharing are by no means an exhaustive list. Let me know what you think in the comment section. So the Ndau people have a rich history of notable chiefs and leaders, many of whom played pivotal roles in resisting domination by neighboring empires like Mutapa and Rozi and European colonizers. Chief Musikavanu, the sacred rainmaker. Chief Musikavanu is a legendary spiritual leader believed to have control over rain and fertility. His authority was more religious than political, mediating between the people and ancestral spirits. The name Musikavanu means creator of the people, reflecting his divine status. He is still revered today in Chimanimani. Chief Mutema, the warrior king. Chief Mutema, also known as the warrior king, was a significant figure in the history of the Ndau people in Zimbabwe. He is believed to have established the Muteba chieftains and was a powerful leader during a period when various local chiefs integrated around the Ndau identity following the Gaza-Nguni conquest. Some speculate that Ngaone stone ruins may have been his original capital, further highlighting the Ndau's role in building stone structures similar to those found at Great Zimbabwe. His legacy. He led fierce resistance against Portuguese incursions in the 16th to 17th centuries, allied with the Mutapa Empire but maintained autonomy. Known for his military tactics, using the Ndau's mountainous terrain for guerrilla warfare, Chief Mutema's dynasty continues to influence parts of Chipinge, Zimbabwe, though the specific form of their rule may have changed. Chief Danda, leader of the Sedanda or Danda state was a key figure in the Ndau region during a period of significant political change. His leadership was vital in navigating the imposition of colonial borders and the efforts to maintain Ndau identity amidst these shifts. The Landa state was a prominent political entity in the Ndau region. His legacy, in essence, Landa's legacy is one of political leadership, resistance to colonial pressures, and the preservation of Ndau identity and culture in the face of external forces. His leadership was instrumental in shaping the political and cultural landscape of the Ndau region. Chief Mapungwana, the unifier. Chief Mapungwana was a leader of the Mapungwana clan, a key group within the Ndau people, united scattered Ndau clans in the 18th century against Ngoni invasions, for example, Gaza Kingdom. He strengthened Ndau identity through oral traditions and rituals. His leadership prevented full assimilation into Soshangane's Gaza Empire. Legacy of Ndau leadership. Resistance against empires. Unlike other Shona groups, the Ndau rarely submitted fully to Mtapa or Rozi rule. Trade and diplomacy. Their chiefs controlled key trade routes to the Indian Ocean. Cultural preservation. Despite Portuguese and British influence, they retained their language and customs. Modern influence. Ndau chiefs still play roles in Zimbabwean and Mozambican politics. For today, we end here. Let's meet next time while we explore the history of the Shona peoples of Zimbabwe. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into Zimbabwean history and Shona tribes and our beautiful cultural heritage.